Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. And any kind of news and such usually go about on Twitter X. And later today, I will be able to publish a Midnight Suns episode. Um, and just a quick reminder that I already have some completed gameplay series 4K, the most recent ones, after the break of around 5 years or so of having a PC, and the 1080p are before that break there. Other than that, I didn't manage to get around and playing some demos here and there, but I did manage to buy a couple of games at least on this winter sale. I will approach those buys on the section of the gaming deals. But yeah, and because we are on the festivity kind of a thing here, program season, I don't have any plans of even trying to get around and worry too much about any kind of live streaming. But yeah, there's not going to be any interruption, at least for the foreseeable future until the end of this year. So around 7 days or so of, I will try to continue the gaming news program throughout these festivities. And again, at least the publishing of the series of Midnight Suns, I will be able to do so. There's no problem there. But yeah, other than that, that's the updates until the end of the year. I will probably at the beginning of the year do a channel update of my overall plans on the channel. But other than that, let's get going. Interesting things happened here on some, let's say, leaks and rumors regarding the possibility of a naming scheme for RDNA 4. The fact that supposedly we're not going to see any kind of RX 8000 naming scheme. Supposedly, AMD is going for RX 9000 naming scheme, and they will not have the class system of their GPUs as the second digit here, because usually the generation is the first algorithm, the first number, sorry, which is supposedly should be 8 for the RDNA 4, given that the RDNA 3 is 7,000. And then usually they put the class number of the GPU as the second digit here. And supposedly they are going for the third one. People are going about here, if this is true, the fact that they're trying to almost, to put it mildly, copycatting the NVIDIA on their naming scheme of the GPU stuff there. But I will assume if this happens, has to do more, I think, with the overall plan that AMD has for their products, namely CPU and GPU. Don't forget that Jack Young said that they are going for the UDNA, so the unified architecture thingy there. So probably will stop seeing the call it being called RDNA and the CPU naming scheme there. And I think that if this is true, they are trying to meld everything. So my assumption here, I've been thinking a little bit here and there. It seems that, for example, when you have a product that is a CPU, we will maintain the same kind of naming scheme. And because at this point in time, the current CPU, so Zen 6 is the 9000, is the naming scheme is 9000. They will update the GPU, supposedly the RDNA 4 as also 9000, so they will keep probably all the naming scheme of their product line, CPU and GPU, as the same series. On the CPU side, we got the 9950, got the 9900, we got the 9700, we got the 9600. So I will assume the first digit is the series names. The second digit here, in this case, the 9000, will be related to CPU. So if it as a zero is not a CPU, it will be most likely a GPU. And if it has a number here on the second digit, will be a CPU mandatorily. And then the third algorithm should be reserved. I'm expecting for GPU naming purposes only. So I will assume I'm not sure they didn't launch for the Zen 6 anything like 9950X. No, they didn't launch yet the refresh, let's say, of Zen 6, if not mistaken. I will assume the third digit is going to be for sorry, reserved for a GPU naming scheme. So the class of the GPU, which at this point, given that RDNA 4 will not have a high-end GPU, will be like middle of the road. I think that's why we're seeing the 7 here in the third digit. And then if there is going to be any kind of refresh, let's say what we saw from the Zen 5, which is the 77, like for example, the 7950s and the such. The refresh digit will be the last one. So, for example, if we have in this case the RX, which is GPU, so the 9075 XT will be like the refresh of the 70 class card of the RDNA products. And if we have, for example, in the case of the 9900 for the CPUs, it will be 9905. At least that's the only way of making sense out of this new naming scheme. If this is true, again, this is tagged as a rumor and leaks. There's been some listings in some of this kind of product page from RDNA on some stores, and I think there is on Zotac also, and I'm not sure if where some of this was come out from Zotac, but there's been some at least we can consider placeholders on some online stores. I will assume it's placeholders, but there's been leaks from other people. Again, I'm not sure if it was before or after these leaks from the store pages came out on the listings there. But yeah, that's my assumption. If they are going to change and put everything, again, it will be confusing. Uh, I think they are most likely going to Intel route, which is confusing with naming products in a very awful way. I think the only thing that will differentiate of us, like just looking at the number, is to look if it is an RX, I will assume, to identify as a Radeon, but because they are going for UDNA, again, I'm not sure if they're preparing the naming scheme for changing the letters before, because when it's a CPU, we know it's a Ryzen, whatever it is, and then usually when there is a GPU, we know it's RX, and the naming and the numbering there has to identify as a GPU there. Again, if it is true, that's the only thing that make me any kind of sense, is being the first digit, the series or the generation per se. Then the second digit is reserved for the CPU class. If it is a higher end or lower end, the digit will vary. Then the third digit is reserved specifically just for CPU classing. So in the case of having a digit here greater than zero, it means that it's a GPU, and automatically this will be a zero. I'm assuming, and then the last digit, the fourth digit, is reserved for like refreshes. I will assume can be greater than one until nine to identify kind of the refresh mid generation of something like that. At least that's my perception. Um, it's the only way that makes sense, given that taking into account those comments from Chat New a couple of months ago, and the fact that Dr. Lisa Su seems to be also give the go ahead on this kind of broad path for at least the consumer products. It's the only thing that makes sense here, at least for the labeling of the products. Again, we will continue to refer them as N6, 7. Again, we don't know how this is going to fare on the future, but again, confirmed if this is true, it will be a little bit confusing for people that don't follow up this kind of news that closely, and people might get confused, even though, of course, on the package you can distinguish if it is a CPU or or a GPU. But again, when you see articles, you might get a little bit confused when you see a naming of the product that you might associate for the GPU side of things or for the CPU side of things regarding AMD. But yeah, so far this is it. Again, I will try not to. There were some other leaks with some specs, some potential specs there on VRAM and the bus width of the memory. Again, we are so close to the CES. I think we will. It's better to wait for official confirmation of all the specs there, and then afterwards we can start trying to guess what kind of performance uplift we might have from and also price to performance that we might get from this new lineup here. Just as a reminder, also, I did cover very broadly on the last program was the Monster Hunter live stream that they did. Kind of live stream, which is a pre-launch community update. They did this update almost 1 hour and a half, give or take, with the game director, some community managers regarding how things are going after the beta, the open beta that they had, and they tackle a lot of issues and situations and things that they're improving, working on for the final release of the game. Um, and yeah, the main takeaway again that I mentioned there was the fact that the PC performance will be improved. Again, we don't know by how much. Again, they are working on optimizations there. The thing that I like regarding consoles is the fact that AMD FSR will be used to upscale the rendering resolution to the output resolution and not checkerboard rendering as in the open beta version. I think some people complain with the checkerboards, the quality is not that good. And I think FSR is better in that sense in terms of technology of upscaling. But yeah, and in that program, I also said that for the overall, um, let's say, for the overall condensation of what they talked about, I got Rurikan's video here. He does kind of condenses into half an hour what the what they talked about there, especially on the gameplay stuff. Again, I don't know the difference. I never played any Monster Hunter game, so I'm not very knowledgeable on that part of the intricacies of the gameplay stuff and the systems and how it works. And Rurikan has been playing Monster Hunter for a long time now, and it's more knowledgeable on how the different weapons and everything works around in the in those games. So I refer to his knowledge regarding giving a better condensation of what they talked about in that live stream. Again, I will leave. I always leave links in the description on everything that I cover. So refer to the video there also. Then we got here. I talk about this game here and then. Forever Sky seems a very interesting game. We got a kind of a review here. This is still in early access, from my understand. I don't think this still launch the full release. I think it has some updates here and there, but it seems so far is as its state on its present state. Sorry, it seems to be a pretty good game. The only cons here is seems to be that the beginning of the game is too hand-holdy. There is a supposedly broken cutscene at the beginning of the early access state there, and there are some saves broken after a co-op update. But other than that, it's very relaxing, a vibrant atmosphere, fun core gameplay loop, which is one of the main things that this game aims for. Again, this is kind of exploration and crafting and survival game here. The interesting thing is like an apocalypse happened, something like that, and there is like a miasma on the planet, and basically the gist of the thing is you have to go about in the rooftops of skyscrapers and try to survive and try to discover what happened and if you can reverse the situation there, if there is kind of a cure for the situation. But yeah, other than that, again, it's early access. It's not the full release. But given that, taking the account of the feedback of the players, the game seems to improve, seems to have improved a lot. And yeah, so far it seems good. Again, I'm waiting for the full release until I get a better opinion there. Then we got in the last couple of days or so, we got a huge update. It seems for Stalker 2. I think that the size of the patch is like almost 110 gigabytes in size, which is a lot. Supposedly, it has 1800 fixes, some improvements for the A Life 2.0, which is like the enemy AI kind of ecosystem that they created here, and a lot of other features. Again, I'm not going over this because you got 1800 fixes. So A Life 2.0 fixes, overall AI improvements, balance adjustments, performance fixes, controllers, cinematics, objects. The most important thing here: main quests and story fixes, side quests and encounters, which is good, open world experience, equipment in inventory adjustments, gameplays, achievements, and all other stuff there. They seem to be fixing a lot of the stuff there, and also it seems that the game is it's profitable now, which is good to see, given that they had huge amount of difficulties on production of the game. um, but yeah, I like to see that at least they are working and cooking on this game here. And then lastly, we got here throughout this weekend that a lot of the Witcher 4 and CD Projekt botchery in terms of trying to put out the flames of the disaster after the the trailer came out on the Game Awards. Um, Again, in this continues again. My only complaint here was at the time when I watched the trailer. I only watched the trailer like a couple of times, and I can only identify that was Ciri here by the scar that she has on the face. It's the only thing that I noticed at the time. I don't have per se any kind of issue with the character design or anything. My main concern is the story and the reasonings that they are giving um, uh, regarding how Ciri is now supposedly a full-blown Witcher. Um, the Witcher by itself, given that is we don't have basically an analogous comparison in terms of using this word for the real world, because you can have like some people call it like adjudicator, like roles that can be have an analogous representation in our real world in games. Usually you can have a sense of what that role is. The Witcher is it's something very specific. We don't have like an analogous thing, mainly because the way a full-blown Witcher has to go through the trial of grasses, which is genetic experimentation and augmentation, which has a huge fail rate, especially, and it's only done on boys, as 100% fail rate on girls. And then we got all the training that you have to do after those trial of grasses experimentations are done if you survive. And then of course you go on the path of the Witcher, which is something that you go alone, you try to get bounties on monsters. And the overall philosophy is because after the construction of fears and the fact that they reached um, to to the conclusion that to hunt monsters you have to create monsters to a certain degree. That's one of the themes of going about this, and the fact that the general populace don't like witchers because they know a little bit of they were how do I say, they were transformed, they were mutated into something else than human. At least that's how the general populaces view witchers, in a sense. And the fact that I think that's one of the reasons that on the books you see everything from the POV from Geralt as the Witcher, because you can humanize Geralt and the thoughts that he has, and the feelings that he has regarding what he been through since the young age of the trial of grasses, of the fact that basically 70% of the boys at the time were killed on those experimentations. But then the fact that the Witcher by itself has a profession, he sees this as something that can improve a little bit the conditions of the general populace because you are eliminating monsters, so eliminating threats from the people. Yeah, it's very interesting how he goes about it. But the fact that in the overall in the overall thread of the Witcher series, Ciri is like the chosen one per se, because she is prophetized as being the chosen one, the one that's going to save humanity from the frost. I think it's called Frost. Again, the Wild Hunt, but then it comes the Wild Hunt. But the big menace overall is the Frost. But yeah, because she is half high elven blood. Again, I might be butchering some technicalities here. She as considered also like a source in terms of powers, magical powers. She is like almost to a certain degree a Deus ex machina mechanism to a sort, because she is the chosen one to save the world. Again, and even on the lore, it doesn't make any sense over in the story that's being ramped up, at least on the game side of things, over turning a full blown Witcher, mainly because Geralt, Yennefer, and even Triss, everybody around her, try to protect her of trying to even getting in that life. Even though I think on Witcher 3, you can choose an ending that she's become kind of a Witcher per se. She goes on the path without any of the shenanigans there, but she chooses to honor the profession of Geralt. And I think it's if Geralt dies and she survives, something like that. I'm not, I don't remember well, but I think it's one of the things that can be done in the endings, that she goes on the path to honor the Geralt's legacy per se. But yeah, some comments are coming from given producers and even from the game director of this game that don't gel well with me, because I think it goes against the characters in the game, even on the games there. Even though they mentioned they honor the lore, which they are not honoring that well, because not even on the Witcher 3, um, Sapowski didn't even like that much Witcher 3. Again, he might have his reasons, but the lore is not being that followed. But I think the essence of the characters is pretty much kind of the same on the book side of things. But yeah, I don't like what this is going. At least they're trying to justify after the fact. But this Mitraga lady says that the gap between her being totally overpowered at the end of the previous game, so Witcher 3, and now with the skill set we showed off in the trailer, something totally happened in between. Again, that's the problem. To a certain degree, I think in terms of presentation, they're trying to present Ciri as the female Geralt to a certain point, to a certain extent, with some modifications of the power set that she might present on the game. But I think they're trying to replace Ciri with Geralt. Might as well have, uh, I don't know, go about in the other way, or just don't do anything there. I don't know. But yeah, she continued. We had to delve deep to consider how we would address this, and then she continues to say, we have huge respect for the lore for both the books and for what made into our previous games. I don't think they even played the previous games, but whatever. But this is one of the first questions we found the answer for, and it's how we are able to create this unusual story, which starts with The Witcher 4. Again, they are very coy here when they try to, but they some stuff basically leaks here and there from the trailer, some interpretation that we can have, and also by the fact that they are trying to hide something in terms of justifications of basically downgrading Siri. But yeah, they confirm that while her power has been reduced, the fact that she is a source, again, the thing, she's a source because of the power set that she has on The Witcher 3, grants us greater magical abilities that you will be able to use in the profession as a monster hunter. Again, uh, one thing is having being a monster hunter, and the other thing is being a witcher. There is a difference here. You cannot equate both of those, because a witcher, to be a witcher, again, we got trial of grass, all that jazz. And then well, a witcher is a monster hunter, but not every monster hunter is a witcher. Basically, that's the thing there. And then referencing to the new release trailer that shows Ciri battle against the bulk, which is that the monster here is kind of mix of spider with something else. Um, she casts multiple spells. Again, one of the intricacies of The Witcher in terms of casting signs. Supposedly, not even mages are able to do something that The Witcher does, and I think it has to do with the genetic augmentation modifications they go through. Is the casting signs, because they are not called spells, even they are called signs, which to a certain degree it's a different level of casting spell per se, but it's a hand sign that they only witches can do. Launching those little signs, they do a hand sign, in the game, and basically you cast like a brief, momentarily, or whatever it is. Can be an igni, can be the you can. I think you can manipulate the mind. I completely forgot. Got the queen, which is the shield thingy. Then you got the yard, which is the throw some wind. Again, you got those five signs. I think they are five signs that you can manipulate there, but it's something that mages cannot do. I think on the Witcher lore, spells have to be conjured, so there is a process involved there. It's not something that they can do in the immediate, as Witchers usually do on combat. Uh, and this is one of the gripes that a lot of people have regarding the combat scene on the trailer, that the fact that she does basically hand signs. Supposedly, we don't. I didn't notice how the end is going through while she doing the casting there. But yeah, it can be a little bit nitpicky there, but it's part of the how the world works in a certain sense. But yeah, this Metrega lady continues what you've seen in the tease, but it's there for a reason. You can see the swords, you can see the chain, you can see her using magic too, and how she uses them all against the boosted monsters that she encounters. Again, they try to justify lowering the power of Ciri and then boosting the power of the monster to make it seem something. It's there to show you that our ambition is with The Witcher 4. Again, I don't like this, but she also noted that Ciri is faster, more agile, but you can still tell that she was raised by Geralt, right? Uh, Not really, because even like in terms of magic power setting, her main thing was talent transportation, at least from my recollection. I will assume she has another more power sets. I don't remember very well now on The Witcher 3. But one thing that I did miss is Ciri is wearing a Lynx medallion, even though we know that's the main medallion that appears on the artwork there, which is something that it doesn't exist, if not mistaken, on the books. The Witcher schools, you have different animals. You got the serpent, if not mistaken, or the snake. You got the wolf, which is from Geralt, and there is I think seven in total schools, and there isn't a lynx. And I think they came up with this one again. This might involve a lot of stuff here on the lore side of things. They are trying to make up as they go along. But yeah, this she likely they just put it out there. She likely received further Witcher training and underwent a trial of graces from someone other than Geralt. Again, um, the fact that she went and to a certain extent betrayed what or disrespected the wishes, again, of Geralt. Again, it might go along with the strong female in the patriarchy and the sexism that they are trying to supposedly approach here. I don't know if it is something in those lines that they're trying to justify there as a way to betray, even to a certain degree, the relationship, because she had combat training, because she was raised by Witcher, so she has at least the combat training there nailed to a certain degree. The only thing that they were not very keen, even from Vesemir and the other witches, was for her to follow the path, in a sense, because it's very dangerous career per se, and it's a very lonely career. I think they wanted something more fulfilling for Ciri's life in that aspect. That's why they went all and band together and tried to fight the Wild Hunt. But yeah, again, my thing here, faster and more agile. A Link supposedly it's more faster and more agile than the Wolf. I don't know if there is any kind of comparison there they're trying to make. And my speculation is probably this is kind of the Link's school, which is I'm not sure if it can be considered as a school, but it's like the this hidden secret or forbidden school that it's basically all female stuff there. Again, I will assume they might go in a path like that, and she discovered this by reading some ancient scroll of the organization of the Witcher school. Again, for sure, this is something, and they have like a trial of grasses specifically designed for women or something. Or again, for sure, this is something that is going to happen that by that, or these trial of grasses, or they manage to modify the trial of grasses taking in account the elder blood magic that she has, and that's after the trial of grasses, the I don't know, the blood that the special blood that she had basically was mitigated that power to absorb the power of the trial of grasses. Again, I don't know how they're going about it here. But yeah, and then Kalamba just went on the trust me bro thing here, which is regarding like she is one of the most powerful entities in the world, again because she's the chosen one in the lore. And the question continues: how are you trying to handle that? Can you expect a low power seer at the start of this? And then Kalemba, which is the game director, just goes on the trust me bro here, which is no, we cannot tell you exactly how, but we can tell you, can tell you just like believe us or trust me bro, that one of the things, our first things that we were solving to make sure the way we develop here, we don't leave anything without a clear answer. Again, they are going on the trust me, bro. We know what you are doing. You have to trust us. We know what's best. And even though supposedly we respect the lore and what came before, especially on the game side of things, because the games don't follow to a T what happens in the books. They usually take inspiration, and supposedly they even not consult that Sapolsky for the Witcher Fraud, so they didn't have any kind of input from the author on at least what the perception is for City, and if because I'm not sure how the books are on in terms of timelines. I think he is going to launch a new book, if not mistaken. But again, no consultation, no input from the author to have like a better perspective of what City could be in the future. Again, that's my main worry. The character design and the such, if she's older or not, fatter or thinner, it's not my main concern. My main concern is the character itself, and how they are treating what came before, which is something that we've been seeing a lot from this acronym totalitarian mafia. Is you got a line from I think Star Wars, the last Star Wars movie, which is forget the past, burn everything, or uh, burn everything to a rubble, and forget the past, and then just create something by what it was before without having any kind of relations to that. But yeah, hopefully, again, I'm not that very optimistic now, but again, I will wait and see. And as usual, don't pre-order any games even after they are announced. Again, don't trust these people. Just wait for when it comes out to have the best possible idea what the game is about. But yeah, we are still at least a couple of years to have proper idea what this is in terms of overall picture of the game. But yeah, this is what I got for you today. Just going for the gaming deals, which are good news. Again, my recent buys were near replicant. Again, 60% off. I will probably start off a gaming series on this one to see if it's suitable for that. because I always was very curious about, especially with Nier Automata, which has also bought and is 60% off. I was always interested in the themes approach here in Nier Automata, and given that Nier Replicant is the sorry, the prequel to that, I'm wanted to play this mainly for story purposes here. But again, I think these games seem to have some themes that will interest me, and the gameplay here it's to my liking, at least from what I've seen so far. But yeah, I bought this too, and I also bought Keeper. I was thinking about playing a demo. Again, I played a couple of times here. I don't have a lot. I got 2.5 hours so far. I will not do any gameplay series on this one. I like this kind of games, play by my own. So far, I really like. Got the dome thingy. You start off very pretty basic. I really like a couple of stuff here to improve our runs here that you can make. And it's something that you will, through the gameplay loop and exploration, excavation, and resource management, you will do eventually. Yeah, it's very interesting. So far, so good in terms of experience that I got with this. And yeah, it's at this moment 60% off. I did get this one, the deluxe edition. I got all the gameplay extras there. We got also a Plague Tale Innocence. I took a chance here. I just bought the first one. I will probably do a gameplay series on this one eventually to see if it is good or not, and then probably take a chance. And if it is good, I will go for the sequel here. We got also Wolfenstein. We got the alternative history collection. Again, I think all of them are good except Youngblood. I think it has the mixed reviews. It's the lower. Again, it doesn't take blah. How he calls Blakowski. I completely forgot Blaskowitz character. It's the only one that he doesn't have there. I think he's dead in this game. So yeah, I think the trilogy, let's say, it's the better stuff there. So I leave it there around 85% off. Then you got The Witcher 3. Again, the best way to go for this complete edition. Then you got a huge amount of mods. I recommend playing the first time vanilla. Maybe you can put it some graphical mods there to enhance textures and the such. You got the Hulk Hogan's texture mod stuff there for this game. I think it might be a good one to go. And then the subsequent playthroughs, you can do it with some gameplay mods. That there are a lot of them that are seem pretty good. Then you got Doom. The first one, 80% off. You can buy the complete Doom franchise. But yeah, at least the soft reboot of Doom and Doom Eternal are very cheap. Then you got also Batman Arkham Trilogy. Sorry, I completely forgot. Is this one? The bundle is 85% off on all three games. The GOTY editions and the season pass for Arkham Knight also pretty cheap. Then you got Hogwarts Legacy, 75% off. Then you got the Resident Evil collection is completely on sale. I'll leave all the Resident Evil Steam pages there in the description. Then you got also Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, 50% off. Something very interesting that doesn't occur that much, having From Software games on a deal. And then lastly, we got Armor Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, 40% off, or the deluxe edition also is at the same deal here in terms of percentage. But yeah, I'll wrap up here for today with a plug on my Patreon. The Patreon is more in line for me to get some extra support to see if I can get around and get a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra storage for the movies, the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Now I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.